What's up? So, guys, this is super awesome for Club D1. And I'm really excited to have this opportunity for Tyler to come and share a few minutes of his time. They just came off a big victory yesterday, and I know his time is short, but to dedicate a little bit of time to you guys and the efforts that you guys are putting in. I shared with him a little bit about what you guys have been doing, the progress that we've made, and kind of the goals that we have to develop the leadership mentality that you're capable as soon as you graduate high school to be that D1 leader. But it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of focus. And so Tyler's going to come on. We're going to ask him a couple of questions, but as you guys know, Tyler's a BYU Cougar like myself. He's carrying on the tradition of the Cougars and doing it in great fashion down there with the Cougars being 5-0 preseason, all Big 12 team. He had an opportunity to leave this last year to go to the NFL, but decided to come back, which is a huge testament, I think, to the program down at BYU and their goals, and also Tyler's dedication to the team and what he's put into that team and trying to see some things through to the end. And so, Tyler, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, super pumped. I'm gonna try to change my view because I'm not getting the. I'm gonna do the speaker. There we go. So Tyler, what I would love right now for you to do is just kind of explain your path to becoming the captain at BYU. So kind of like what I said, our age groups, they're from late elementary, early middle school through juniors and high school. We play a lot of different sports, but everybody's involved in some high pressure stuff and has goals and visions, and some not. Like some of us are exploring still and trying to figure out who we are and what we want and what we love. And so I'd love to kind of maybe take us through kind of your middle school through where you're at right now and just kind of the steps it took you to become who you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super stoked to get this opportunity. Brandon reached out, and I was super stoked to be able to talk to you guys. Um, Realistically, it was not too long ago. I was in your guys' shoes, believe it or not. Whether you're in elementary, junior high, or high school, I've been there. I've been through that, and so a little about me. I'm from Utah, born and raised. So I'm from Payson, Utah, just a little bit south of Provo there. I'm the youngest of seven kids, and I grew up on a little farm down in Payson. My dad's a big cowboy. My dad's from here. He's from Utah. My mom's from Pennsylvania. And so that's just a little bit of background of who I am. That's my parents a little bit, and just gets you a taste of kind of how I grew up. From a young age. I'm the youngest of seven, so I had a lot to learn from. I had a bunch of siblings that, influenced me in certain ways. I'm sure you guys all have either siblings or parents or mentors that influence you guys in certain ways. And so, I'm grateful for that. So be grateful for those people in your life. For me, I think what Brandon mentioned was awesome right off the bat. Dreams, goals, visions, whatever you want to call it. Um, that is a super important part of life. And you guys are young, and you don't need to have everything figured out. Believe me, I'm 25. I'll be 26 next year. I have friends and mentors. I have people who I call friends that are 60 years old and are still figuring out what they want to do with their life. So one thing is no pressure. Life is long. Um, Life is long, so you can do a bunch of different things, right? And if you don't know exactly what you want to do right now, that is okay. Learn, right, and explore and do all that stuff. Um, I will say though, for me, right, I had a bunch of interests as a kid. I love being outdoors. Like I said, my dad's a big cowboy, so I grew up riding horses from a really young age. Working on the farm. Both of my brothers loved dirt bikes. They love play toys, dirt bikes, ATVs, trucks, cars, you name it. That's where I kind of get my mechanical side from. We grew up again hunting and just again being outdoors, boating, all that stuff. So tons of different again things that you get exposed to when you're younger. Tons of different interests, things that you enjoy. For me, one thing that I loved from day one was football, right? And that was just I don't know why. I don't know why or how it happened. But from day one, I was just like, man, I love football. Uh, and I don't, do you guys play any instruments? Do you guys have parents that make you do piano practice or math homework or anything like that, right? It's probably stuff that you guys aren't, the most fond of. That stuff's good for you, right? But for me, again, that passion was football. And it's good to be well-rounded. So don't not pay attention to that other stuff because it is important. But what I am going to say right here is pursue your passion, right? And pursue your vision, right? So the way that sets up is you got to have an idea, right, of what you want to do, of what you want to set out to accomplish, right? You can call it a goal, you can call it a vision. In the great words of Steve Young, if you guys know who Steve Young is, right? He's a Hall of Fame quarterback for the 49ers, right? Hall of Fame quarterback. In the words of Steve Young, if your dream doesn't have any plans, then it's just a dream, right? So one of the biggest things, right, is you have that idea that you want to achieve. You may not know how to achieve it. Look, so like I said, I loved football from day one. It was life to me. My mom wanted me to practice piano. I complained and whined and kicked my way out of that. And she finally said, well, okay, if you don't want to learn how to play the piano, that's just fine because clearly you have interest in other areas. And I did. Football is that's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to practice the piano. I didn't want to do that stuff. I didn't have a bunch of interest there. It's like, man, if I'm doing anything, I want to be playing football. That was my passion, right? So from a young age, I was like, man, like I want to play football for as long as I can. So it's like, oh, okay, well then, you got to get the wheels turning, right? Critical thinking is a big part of leadership and of just development as an individual. You got to be able to say, okay, there's something that I want to accomplish. For you guys, it may be whatever, right? Whether it's I want to pursue, I want to pursue sports, I want to pursue academics. If you guys are really into math or science or reading or whatever it may be, or whether it's an instrument, whatever it may be, you got to say, okay, this is what I love to do. This is what I want to pursue. Okay, how do I pursue it, right? So that's the next part is making a plan. And it's got to be detailed, right? So it's got to be detailed. You got to make a plan, you got to be detailed with it. And I'll get back to my story in a second, but I want to touch on this as I'm kind of setting the stage for how things went. So you got to have a vision, you got to have a goal. Then you got to have a plan. And it is on you, it's your responsibility, right? No one can do it for you, and no one's going to do it for you. It's up to you to find that plan, figure it out, set it up, and then the next step is to execute that plan, right? If you guys can do that, find a goal, find a vision, create a plan, and then execute that plan, I promise it's not going to be easy, right? There's going to be little hiccups, but you guys will be able to do anything you want. Remember that. Got to have a vision, got to have a plan, and then you got to execute. And I know some of your guys' principles that you're built on is trust, right? And resiliency. Those are huge. Those are huge in finding your passion, creating a plan, and executing the plan. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, okay. So back to my story and where I come from. So I wanted to play football, right? As a kid. That was it. So what did I do? I played football growing up, right? So okay, I didn't play tackle football from a young age. It was just flag football, right? And it was just I was enjoying it, right? I was exploring it, I was enjoying it. Okay, what's the next step? The next step, I get to junior high and you get a little older and you're like, okay, like this is more than just maybe a hobby. It's like, okay, this is something that I still want to pursue. So what am I going to do? Junior high, I was like, man, I want to play football in high school, right? I really do. I want to play football in high school. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get myself ready, right? So my goal is to play football in high school. My plan is to, okay, what do I need to do to play football in high school? Okay, well, I need to keep playing football. I need to keep learning about football. I need to get in shape, right? I need to stay in shape, bigger, faster, stronger. Okay. So then I get to high school, ninth grade. Um, I, as a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, I think I just turned 14. I just turned 14. So this was summer before my freshman year of high school. I was actually in a four-wheeler accident that about killed me. I about died. So kind of crazy, crashed a four-wheeler when I didn't have a helmet on. I about died and cracked my skull open, bunch of problems there. And the doctors, kind of told me, hey, you know, it may not be so smart to play football, right? You've had a head injury, you've had some difficulties here. It probably won't be the best thing for your health if you played football. And yeah, you know what I told the doctors? I said, hey, look, that's what I want to do, man. I want to play football. I want to pursue that. It's one thing that I just love. But I also said, hey, I understand where the doctors are coming from. So a little bit of a difficulty there, right? Like, hey, I want to play football. Well, now I have people telling me that maybe not be a good idea. Well, I'm going to continue to pursue it. But at the same time, I need to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to keep my body healthy, wearing helmets, eating right, sleeping right, all those things to help my brain and my body recover. Okay. That's my part of my plan. I get to high school. Okay. I get to high school and I'm like, all right, I'm playing football. I'm loving it finally. This is my sophomore year, junior year, even my freshman year after that brain injury, right? It was like, man, I still want to play football in high school and I want to play football in college. So, what is my plan to get there? I was like, I don't know. So, again, to tell you guys a little bit more about me, none of my siblings played sports in college. Neither of my parents graduated from college. So I had a couple siblings that had, but they didn't play sports in college. We didn't know how things worked. But guess what? I had that vision, right? Of okay, I want to play football in college. Okay, so it's my responsibility to make my plan. Okay, if I don't know what to put in my plan, I've got to go find out, right? I have to go learn what it's going to take. And so I did. I got on the internet. You guys have great resources to great tools. You have incredible parents, incredible communities, and you have the internet, right? Go Google stuff. Say, man, how do I do this? Okay, that's what I did. I said, okay, I need to be big and fast and strong. How do I get big and fast and strong? And I spent hours researching, Googling, reading articles. Man, how do I get big, fast, and strong? Okay, now that I know how to get big, fast, and strong, I'm going to create a plan. Okay, I need to lift 5 days a week. I need to work these muscle groups. I need to run, right? That was my plan. Okay, football wise, I need to work on catching the ball. I need to work on tackling. I need to work on footwork. Well, how do I do that? Okay, what drills can I do? Well, practice catching the ball, practice tackling, practice getting in the ladders and cone drills, right? So that's part of my plan to get me to the next level. So then this is another part that I really want to emphasize, guys, is you have to trust your plan. Okay. If you have done things right, okay, and you have created the plan, you've had a vision, you've created the plan, you're trying to execute the plan. This is when you need to trust yourself, okay? The thing that will undermine your plan and be your biggest difficulty in life is self-doubt, okay? So I I want to emphasize this in a really big way. Trust, okay? Trust yourself, trust your parents, trust your mentors. Most importantly, trust your plan, okay? Trust your plan. Trust it and just go to work. Do what you told yourself you were going to do. That plan that you laid out, do it and trust that it's going to work. So I'm in high school. I'm playing football. um, we got a lot of athletes in here. So I'll give you a little statistic, a little representation of how good our football team was. So you guys know how records go, right? So records, it's wins in the first column and losses in the second. So if you go 10-0, you're a really good team, right? If you go 0-10, not so great, right? My freshman year of high school, our team went 0-10. My sophomore year of high school, I was started on varsity. Our our team went 0 and 10. I played some JV as well, and we won some games, but our varsity team, we went 0 and 10. So I'm in the middle of this. No interest from colleges at this point, right? I'm a sophomore, to be expected. Okay, next year will be better. Trust the plan. 1 and 9, my junior season of football. Well, this isn't going great. I'm not really getting looked at. Okay, how do I get exposure? If our team isn't doing great, how do I get exposure? Go to camps. Okay, if we're not attracting colleges to come and scout our high school team, go to camps. Okay, so I worked a job. I raised money for myself. I went and earned money, and my dad matched it. Right. So if I raised $100, he would put another $100 in. Um, most of what my high school football, my gear, I paid for. My camps, I paid for at least half of it, right? Because it's something that I wanted to do, and I was lucky enough to have my dad there that supported me. If you want it, you'll find a way, right? So it comes down. Find a plan, find your passion, make a plan. Okay. How do I get exposure? How do I get those D1 offers? I'm a junior in high school, and I just demolished guys, right? We played against teams and we lost every game almost, but I'm winning right on the field and I'm doing everything I can. But still, my plan doesn't seem to be working. Okay, how do I get exposure? Go to the camps. Go to the camps. Get a little bit of exposure. Still nothing though, right? I'm big, I'm fast, I'm strong. I play the game well. I'm trusting the plan, right? But there's a little bit of doubt there. And I'm like, well, what, like, man, what am I doing? I must be wrong, right? My plan must be wrong. No, trust your plan. Keep moving forward. I finished my junior season. Not a whole lot's happening. Finally, right? I just keep going. I keep working out. I keep training. I'm following my plan. I'm trusting my plan. I get a call. University of Hawaii offers me full ride scholarship to play football. The past 5, 7 years of work and sacrifice, of dreaming and planning and executing, finally came to life. And then Utah calls, University of Utah calls, and then BYU calls, and then UCLA calls, Boise State calls, Princeton calls. A bunch of these different schools start to come calling, right? So don't be discouraged when things don't seem like they're going in your favor. Keep working, keep trusting. I promise it'll work out. So I ended up deciding to go to BYU. I went on a 2 year service mission to Spain, which was incredible. I love Spain, love the Spanish people. I put my college career on hold, came back, and started playing for BYU football. And guys, let me tell you, it was the same thing. Man, I want to be a starter, but you're only a freshman. But no, my goal is to be a starter. All right, what's my plan? Okay, if I want to be a starter, well, I got to be bigger, faster, and stronger than the guys in front of me. If I want to be a starter, then I've got to know the playbook better than the guys in front of me. And then if I want to be a starter, when I get my opportunity, I've got to go out and I've got to perform better than the guys in front of me. Okay, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to hit the weight room. I'm going to do these drills. I'm going to study my playbook. I'm going to practice my techniques. I'm going to ask my coach what I can get better on. It's the same formula that you reapply over and over and over again, guys. And so here I am today as a super senior. I'm a 5th-year senior. I had an extra year eligibility from COVID. I've been a co-captain for 2 years. I've been a captain for last year and now this season. And I will tell you guys, trust. Okay, follow your passion, make a plan, execute the plan, and just trust it because it will work out. And so that's me. That's where I came from. That's what I've gone through, and that's a quick synopsis of who I am and where I'm at today. And so this is my last season, with BYU football before I pursue my dream of playing in the NFL.
What a story, Tyler. I appreciate that, man. So many things that you speak to. We've been speaking to just this past month that that vision, and really seeing is believing. And you spoke to that. You have to see it in your head, and then you have to put that plan on paper, and you have to execute, and you're going to face the challenges. Are you kidding me? 1 in 29. Who in their right mind would see 1 in 29 in their head and believe that they were going to continue to on and go places with that? Like, you have to be so dedicated and really understanding in who you are. A lot of what we do is the Mamba mentality and just the quest to always be a little bit better. And it's really a quest inside of yourself. And the world is noisy, the world is chaotic. And maybe this last question I have before I kind of open up to the group is, this world is chaotic. It's only getting more noisy for these kids with social media and friends and technology. And the pace of life just seems to just be firing at 100 miles an hour at all times. And yet, to really understand yourself, you have to be able to just kind of listen. But if you're always taken in the noise, you don't have a chance to really dig inside and be aware of what you want. What are you here to experience? What is your passion? And your friends are going to pull you along. Your social media following is going to pull you along. All of these things are going to pull you in different directions away from you. And you're not going to be happy if you don't have that ability to trust yourself. And so maybe just the last piece of advice for the kids in trying to listen to themselves in this just noisy world that they're growing up in right now.
Yeah, that's a great point. Look, you guys have an incredible amount of resources in today's age. You guys also have an incredible amount of distractions. Two of the biggest things that will prevent you from achieving your goals, I've already touched on. One is doubt, and the other one is distractions, right? You guys have a limited amount of time, right? We've only got 24 hours in a day. And for you guys right now, that may seem like a lot, right? I remember being a kid and it's like, man, you're sitting in school and you're like, man, can't this go by any faster? It's like 6 hours, 5 hours goes by really slowly. But look, you guys, you're only in this spot of your life once. You're only going to live today once, right? So don't count the days and make the days count. What is the most important thing today? What is the most important thing today? For me, every day, the most important things: my faith, my family, right? And that specifically includes my wife, right? So I wake up and the first things I think about is my person and who I am, right? Okay, what kind of person do I want to be? And am I on a track to be that kind of person? I will tell you guys, and I hope you guys, if there's anything you take away from what I say tonight, let it be this: nothing happens by accident. Whether that's personal success, okay, whether that's whatever it may be, in whatever aspect you guys want to think of it, nothing happens by accident. If you guys want to be a successful athlete, if you guys want to be a successful student, if you guys want to be a successful person, a successful individual in any field, if you want to be a successful father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter, if you want to be successful, it will not happen by accident. Okay? It will not happen by accident. It is up to you. No one can take that away from you, right? And don't put your responsibility for success on somebody else. You and only you are responsible for your success. So control what you can control and go take care of business, all right? The biggest thing, going back to Brandon's question, really, guys, don't doubt yourself, right? Don't doubt yourself. Tune out distractions. And like I said before, you guys have so many resources. Use those resources, right? Educate yourself, learn, be avid learners, be avid readers. And remember, what is the most important thing, right? Right now, begin to say, hey, look, if I want to be great, if I want to be a great violin player, or if I want to be a great volleyball player, or if I want to be a great baseball player, football, whatever it is an hour of scrolling on TikTok versus an hour of practice, which one is more important? Hour of practice, right? Now comes the important part. Do you guys have the discipline to put down your phone and go practice for an hour? How bad do you want it? Right? You want to talk about the Mamba mentality. How bad do you want it? Because again, it is up to you. Nothing happens by accident. If you're going to sit on your phone for an hour and scroll, and I'm not saying that's bad, right? I do the same thing. I'll get on Instagram and check things out. I'm not saying that's bad. But if it is getting in the way of what you want to do, that is when it becomes bad, right? So the biggest thing, remove doubt, remove distractions, and just go to work.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that. Without going too much further, I'd like to just open it up to a couple of our members here. Some of the kids have kind of fallen in your path as well, leadership wise and school wise. And let me see here. I'm going to change my view really quick. And let's, Tanner, you got a question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Tyler, this is Tanner from California, water polo player, been part of the group for the last like 3 years. Just a stud. He's my graduate assistant for me. So he's working up and working to becoming a coach and helping out. And so a lot of good things from Tanner in the future.
Sweet.
So, for me, like in every sport, almost every sport, like you may have a game plan or something, but obviously things don't go as they should in game. So, like one of my questions is, what's the best way to adjust to an in-game situation that goes off track?
Trust, right? Like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you punch them in the mouth, right? So you're in the middle of a game, right? You're in the middle of a game, you get punched in the mouth, metaphorically or physically, literally, right? Yeah. How do you respond? Trust, right? You've done the preparation, you've done the work. If things aren't going the way you want them to go, look, man, that's life sometimes. That's when we talk about resiliency. Resiliency and trust, same thing, right? Resiliency and trust. Look, you have a process. So all those little things you do, they create a process, okay? When people, for a long time, I did not understand what trusting the process was, okay? I didn't understand what is the process. Everyone says trust the process. What is the process? The process is the details, okay? It's the things that you do on the daily, right? And I tell, this is something that I tell our guys almost every day. Elite details make an elite process. An elite process makes an elite player. An elite player makes an elite team. So your process, that is your practicing, your breath work, your mental aspect, right? So it's everything that you do, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, to prepare or to progress. Okay, that is the process. So that's the hardest thing to do, is when you're in the middle of a game and things aren't going the way you want. What do you do? In-game adjustment. There may be some little things, right? Like, oh, hey, our strategy isn't working. Maybe we need to tweak our strategy. But your process, right? Trusting the process is you saying, hey, look, I've put in the hours, I've put in the time. I am trusting my preparation. I'm trusting my teammates. I'm trusting what we have done. And I'm just going to keep rolling. And I'm going to keep doing what I know will set me up for success, even if the success isn't here yet, right? It's, oh man, I'm doing the practice. I'm sacrificing. I'm working. I'm not seeing results. Trust the process. The process is the sacrifice and the work. Trust that, right? And so I hope that answers your question. Just trust your process and just keep chopping, just keep going.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
You bet. Brandon, I think you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Awesome question. Tanner, thank you for the great response. Jackson, I think, had a question. Anybody else? If you just quick raise a hand, anybody else have a question, but we'll pass it over to Jackson. Go ahead, Jackson.
All right, so my question is like, what's the best experience that you've had so far in college, and then what's been the hardest as well?
That's a great question, man. The best experience in college, thus far, is success with my team. That's when you have a bunch of guys that are selfless and are willing just to sacrifice and play for each other, and because of that, um, you get something special. I've been on some incredible teams during my time here at BYU. 2020, we lost one game that season. 2021, excuse me, we lost two regular season games, and this is just an example to learn from. Is we lost two regular season games, and then some guys started doubting the process, and we lost our bowl game that we worked so hard for. And because it wasn't the results that we wanted, some dudes quit trusting the process, and we lost our bowl game, right? So we ended up 10-3 instead of 11-2. And that may sound negligible, but it's big deal. And so I would say, yeah, the success I've had, and the exact opposite, I just touched on it. The hardest thing that I have went through is exactly that, is doing everything within my power, right? Trusting the process and things not working out. And at the end of the day saying, dang, I didn't reach my goals and we didn't reach our goals. But hey, tomorrow's a new day, and tomorrow I get to try again. And like I said, be grateful for every day and take advantage of every day, right? And so yeah, I would say just the best thing is success with your teammates. And on the exact flip side is just the hardest thing has just been failure, right? Failure when you've sacrificed and worked so hard and you don't get what you want.
Love it. Thank you, Jackson. Awesome question. Was that Mimi or Ezra? Who's got a question? I see a thumbs up emoji going over there. Just adding figures to the screen. Crew, anybody else have a question? We good? Tyler, man, I feel like I'm pumped. I'm pumped. So many good things here. I've written a lot of notes. It's in the details, and I hope everybody understands that the road to success, like you said, is there is no accident, and you've turned over every stone to get to where you're at. And the mediocrity comes when you just think you can only turn half the stones over and you're good to go, or you feel like you've arrived. And I can't tell you how many people I've come in my career, football career, who they showed up in the locker room because they've arrived. They were the man in high school, or they were all this, they were all that. Well, guess what? They faded away pretty quickly because they reached the summit and they stayed there. Well, guess what? The rest of us kept climbing. There were false summits and they stayed, they camped out and they were comfortable. And the rest of us kept going. And that's part of being on a team. And it's challenging, but it's rewarding, and it's something that you will never lose the rest of your life if you put everything into it. And you can always go to sleep restful because you did, and you gave it your all. And you've given it your all, Tyler. We appreciate you really being that example and coming on here with our small little group. I know you didn't have to, but really appreciate it, and giving the advice in 30 minutes of your time to all these guys. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Super happy to.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys all have a great night. We'll see you guys on tomorrow night. See you, Tyler.
Yes, sir. All right, have a good one, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.